And we are live from the heartland, coming to you wall to wall, treetop tall, coast to coast, border to border, and beyond. I hope you're ready for some unindoctrination because, ready or not, here it comes, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, cousins of all ages. Tonight, out of the shadows, we're going to talk about dark magic. I have a little bit of a throat thing tonight. We've Cynthia's fighting off a bug, but I couldn't even consider not being here tonight because we've got such a great D program for you. And I'm so looking forward to it. Great to see Mind over Magick. Great to see Matthew Pope. He says, no salvation, no forgiveness. I'm with you. Tonight, we're on the Flee the Watchtower channel. We're on Unindoctrinate with Jeffrey Daugherty. And we're on the Ex-Evangelical Hour channels on our YouTube. We're also on Twitch and Twitter. And we're on Odyssey. And, of course, we're on our go-to platform, Rockfin. I love me some Rockfin. Zeus Crowley, good to see you. Scuba Maru, good to see you. Dana says, hurry up already. Well, we're doing it. Stewie is with us. And we also have Duke's with us. Organic Intelligence. Christie's here. Osiris Orion is here. Rabbits Warren. Daggers with the Super Galactic. Mind Over Magic. Cruz Michael. Dot Matrix is here. Tammy Miles. Lots of people filing in. So glad to see you all. Joe Montoya is here with us. Abby is with us. Artie is with us. Gia. Sean Ovish and KB52. Wow. Alex, nice to see you. Dana, thank you for saying the jacket. That was worth a second mention. Emperor Rex. And of course, I said Artie Thomas, but I'll say him again. 10,000 Lakes. Great to see you too. And over on Rockfin, who do we have? Lurking. I love the lurkers. Mind Over Magic. Bonnie's the best. We got lots and lots of repeats, so I don't say them twice. Pedro from the French Alps. Lit T, nice to see you. Always is. Jan Simp. I'm plain and simple. Joni Marshall. Jimmy Vox Johnson is here. I don't know that I've seen that name before, so welcome. Glad to have you here. So tonight, folks, we are ready to bust right into some stuff that has to be talked about, but that nobody talks about. Antoinette, nice to see you. Eddie is here as well. Alexander is here as well. We appreciate all of you. So we're going to have tonight, we're going to be talking about this subject of out of the shadows. We're going to talk about dark magic. And it gives me a nice segue, so I don't forget, to talk about our great solar initiative. Cynthia and I have been interested in solar energy for a long time, getting free of the electric company, being able to make your meter run backwards because you're selling power back. But we haven't been interested in strangers knocking on our door. We have not been interested in high pressure salespeople coming into our home and trying to close us. We haven't been. And you as a homeowner, I'm sure, have not been as well. But now you have a family friend in the solar business. It's me, yours truly. So if you own a home, go to jeffreydaugherty.com, click on the sun. You'll see it. Click on the sun, and I will personally give you an energy analysis of your bill and see if it makes any sense to you. Present you with the numbers. If you like it, great. If you don't like it, great. It works either way. But what we're trying to do is fund this great work of unindoctrination and help cousins out at the same time. So go to jeffreydaugherty.com and hit that sun, and I will personally get back with you. Just me, nobody else, just your family friend, the one you love so much. So let's get into this out of the shadows. Let's talk about dark magic. And right away, I'm already making people scared. They're scared, Snake Dagger. Cheryl Ann, they're scared. Missing You, they're scared. Nancy, they're frightened because they don't know where I'm going to go, because you can never tell where I'm going to go. But this whole idea of black magic, this whole idea of dark magic, This whole idea of shadow magic as Smoochie sneaks in, it is all about a great misperception and a diversion. And it's all set up to prevent a revolt of us against them. Think about it. What you feel, what you think, Delaney's here, what you understand, you think you understand about magic. Think about it in a minute. Who gave you the idea of black magic? Who gave you the idea of dark magic? I find it interesting that the inventors of Kabbalistic magic call our magic black and try to scare us about it. It's even the term magic they try to frighten us about. But think it through. What is magic? Magic is simply the direction of intention. Smoochie says black magic scares her. I guarantee you, Smoochie, by the end of this deprogram, which might be a little short because I'm working on a voice that's a little short, I guarantee you, you will not be scared or frightened by black magic anymore. And you're only frightened because of what other people have told you. And Antonio, I bet you're going to have a complete change of heart too, or you'll never be back. One or the other. But watch and listen. Keep your mind open. Keep your mind open. Knowing your power. Yes, that's what it's all about. Steve says he wants the power. And Dr. Tony L. Fawcett, nice to see you. Okay. Who told you that magic was black? And what is black magic? Now, even the best of us, the most enlightened of us, those that think they understand and they know, there's this fancy schmancy idea that black magic is defined, even by the most enlightened. Black magic is defined by overriding the intention of a sovereign entity. If you override the intention of a sovereign entity, then you're guilty of black magic. It sounds so good. It sounds so rational. Everybody says it's right. And in most cases, even in this case, when everybody believes it, when you find yourself on the side of the majority, you better stop and check your sources, because this idea of the overriding of the intention of a sovereign entity being black magic is nonsense. It's a false, even an anti-enlightenment statement. What about casting out demons? What about healing sicknesses? I think every single person that understands and has been a part of what we are knows that it is many times that demons can actually be and are sovereign entities. They're a sovereign entity. Sickness can many times be a sovereign entity. But yet, you don't hesitate to cast out a demon. You don't hesitate to override the intention of a sovereign entity if it's something that you identify as a demon. You don't hesitate to override the intention of a sovereign entity if it's something that you identify as a sickness. Demons and sicknesses can often be sovereign entities. So this whole idea that if you override the intention of a sovereign entity, you're guilty of black magic, it's almost like the New Age unpardonable sin. You know, there's that undefinable, nonsensical verse in the script, your script, you call it the scripture, any man that blasphemes the Holy Spirit, that's the unforgivable sin. Of course, that's nonsense, but New Age, supposedly enlightened people, we have our own unpardonable sin, overriding the intention of a sovereign entity. The whole idea is calculated fear porn. Black magic. All black magic is, I'm going to reframe it. I'm going to give it a new name. Black magic, what they call black magic, what the inventors of Kabbalistic magic call black magic is simply the aggressive direction of our intention. It is the aggressive direction of our intention. That's what black magic is. And if you don't agree with me now, hold on, you will. Let's talk about states of human being, states in which we live, states of who and what we are and how we're doing. There's peace. There's détente. Peace is we're getting along. We love everybody. Everybody loves us. Détente is a situation of, okay, you're not bugging me. I'm not bugging you, but we're not sure that one of us isn't about to. And basically stated, there's two types, maybe three, two types of magic, two real types of magic. Benign, which is you're not hurting anybody or anything. You're using it for your own betterment and the improvement of your own situation. Then there is aggressive magic. Then there is aggressive magic. Now, in times of peace, as magic is related, aggressive magic is never, ever acceptable during times of peace. And in fact, it is a moral outrage. Let me say that again. In times of peace, aggressive magic is never acceptable. And it is, in fact, a moral outrage. Now, in times of détente, détente is not a time for aggressive magic. Now, this is a moral stand for which we potentially pay a price, because all of our enemies and all of those that oppose us won't take that same high moral standard of not using aggressive magic in a time of détente. And I believe our pagan heathen heritage states that we will not use aggressive magic in times of peace, and we will not use aggressive magic in times of war. But it causes me to ask a question, or in times of, détente. But it causes me to ask a question. Could there be a third type of magic? And that third type of magic might be called investigatory magic, because it's détente, but we think that they might be trying to start something. I'm thinking it could be morally allowable, permissible to virtually spy through energetic, magical means just to take a look and see what condition our condition is in, that kind of a thing. When we suspect malfeasance, just a suggestion. Just a suggestion. Okay, now let's talk about war and magic. Unilateral attack via aggressive magic is never, ever morally acceptable in times of peace or in times of true détente. If we are not at war, and in fact, if you're not in a war that somebody else started against you, in my estimation, and you can evaluate this on your own after we're finished, in my estimation, if you are not involved in a war where you have been unilaterally attacked, then you have no moral authority to use aggressive magic. We're not even going to say black magic anymore. We're not even going to say dark magic. We're not even going to say shadow magic. We're going to say aggressive magic. Now, if you have been attacked unilaterally in a time of peace, in a time of détente, then aggressive magic is morally demanded when you've been subjected to such attack. And we, ladies and gentlemen, Emma, we have been immorally, we have been unilaterally and repeatedly attacked by aggressive, Judeo-Christian magic, and it continues to this day. Like Cynthia says, they went and attacked those of us that just wanted to be left alone. We were pagans. We were heathens. We just wanted to dance around the fire naked, take care of our own business. We stayed away from their cities. We stayed away from their God. But they attacked us, and they continue to attack us. And thus, we have, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, cousins of all ages, we have the moral high ground. I also say that we have the moral responsibility. Nice to see you, C. Noble. We have the moral high ground, and we have the moral responsibility to unleash a no-holds-barred defensive counterattack on Judeo-Christianity, including our most aggressive magic. In fact, it's past time. And if we don't do it, we will cease to exist as a free people. Thank you, RP brothers. We will cease to exist as a free people if we don't start employing with reckless abandon our aggressive magic. And organic intelligence is so right. You use magic every single day, even if you don't know it. All right, we're getting deep tonight, aren't we? So let's talk about Ephesians 6, kosher disclosure and diversion. Ephesians chapter 6, I believe it picks up in verse number 12, and it says, we wrestle not. The lying script tells us we wrestle not against flesh and blood. And Smoochie, we're going to that. We're going to that. We wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. This is a mix of kosher disclosure and a mix of diversion and a mix of lies and damn lies. Because the first thing it says is, we wrestle not against flesh and blood, which is a lie and even a damn lie. Because we do wrestle against flesh and blood. We do. And in fact, flesh and blood are our greatest enemies. They just don't want us to know that we are wrestling against flesh and blood. They don't want us to know that flesh and blood are our greatest enemies, because if we don't know it, we won't fight it. And if we don't fight it, we'll never win. This is a hidden kosher disclosure, and there's more than one hidden kosher disclosure in this. Flesh and blood. We wrestle against flesh and blood. They're telling us to wrestle not against flesh and blood. Don't fight against what we're going to talk about, flesh and blood people that are against us. And they're also saying, don't fight against flesh and blood. And flesh and blood is a direct reference to pagan enemy number one, Judeo-Christianity. Let me call your attention to John chapter 6, verse 53. This is John. In John, I should have made this in red because it's the words of Christ in red. John writes, quoting Jesus, then Jesus said unto them, verily, verily, double emphatic, the most emphatic way to say something in Greek. Verily, verily, I say unto thee, except you eat the flesh of the Son of Man and drink the blood of the Son of Man, you have no life in you. Do you notice that in Ephesians 6, don't wrestle against flesh, don't wrestle against blood. And in John 6, see that? John 6, Jesus says, you got to eat the flesh. You got to drink the blood. Do you see this? You've got to learn to see this. This is in the Bible. And all Christians believe it. All Christians believe in the book of John. The book of John says, quoting Jesus, Jesus who's so loving, and Jesus whom you want to love even though you're not going to be Christian anymore. Pull your head out of your orifice. Jesus said, unless you eat the flesh, unless you drink the blood, you have no life in you. And if you go to John 6:6, many turned away from him and followed him no more. That's us. That should be you. And if it's not, I don't know what the hell's the matter with you. Christianity are people that believe in eating flesh and drinking blood. And yet, tell me again how we have to have fellowship with them, or that we can have fellowship with them. People tell me there's something wrong with me because I refuse to have fellowship with people that believe that you have to eat flesh and drink blood to be a Christian. Well, Jeff, not all the Christians believe that. Do all Christians believe the book of John? Yes, they do. So they believe John 6:53. Even if they don't know it, they believe it and they support it. And I am not afraid to tell them like you are. I have my give a damn busted a long time ago, and I don't care. All I seek is the truth. Any Christian, feel free to call me and tell me how it's okay for you to eat flesh and drink blood. Well, it's just metaphorical. Oh, so you're just a metaphorical zombie. You're still a sick psychopath, and I want nothing to do with you. Do you understand the kosher disclosure there? Do you understand the diversion there? I think you do. But let's back up a moment. We wrestle not against flesh and blood. The word wrestle means to struggle, to fight. It also means struggle, like Kampf in German. Just thought I'd throw that out there. We wrestle not, they say. Do we have a struggle? Do we have a fight? Do we have a conflict? And do we have a contest? Yes or no? Obviously, yes, we do. Now, do we have a struggle with any flesh and blood people? Of course we do. Do we have a struggle with do we have a fight with any flesh and blood people, a conflict with any flesh and blood people, a contest with any flesh and blood people? Are there flesh and blood people that are against us with whom we have to go to war with? Of course there are. Of course we struggle against flesh and blood enemies, and they are of Judeo-Christianity. And it's not just the doctrine, but it's against those who originated and rule the Judeo-X brand. What am I trying to say? I'm trying to say that all the ruling class of this new world order are of the Judeo-X brand. Obviously, we must struggle. We must fight. We must engage in conflict with, and we must contest them. And if we don't, we lose. It's just that simple. And the Judeo-Christian matrix does everything it can to try to convince you to pretend that this fight does not even exist. And that ensures our defeat. Oh, brothers and sisters, we're not fighting against flesh and blood. Yes, we are. You see, the whole pie in the sky and the sweet by and by after you die, that's not just about heaven. It's to keep you from fighting the enemies while you're still around down here on the ground. Do you see how literally paradigm shifting this is? Of course we fight against flesh and blood. And the fact the Bible says we don't is proof that it lies. And it goes into detail. We fight against principalities and powers. Now, most Christians don't even read the Bible, and almost no Christians study the Bible like we're doing, going into Bible Hub and looking at the origin of these words. I'm not going to do it tonight, but you know how I do it all the time. The word principalities and powers in the original language means rulers and magistrates. And believe it or not, it says the authorities of Judeo-Christianity. I'm going to have to show you that one because not even I would believe that it was true unless somebody showed it to me. So I'm going to go to Ephesians chapter 6, and I'm actually going to show you how this literally says that we're fighting against the powers of Judeo-Christianity. I'm going to go to Bible Hub. I'm going to go over here to the book of Ephesians. I'm going to go to chapter 6, and I'm going to pop on to King James here. Bless God, because everybody loves the gay king. And we're going to go down to the proper script, and then I'm going to bring it on to the big screen, and I'm going to show you all. Are we on the big screen, Dagger? Are we on the big screen? Okay, so let's go ahead and go to Ephesians 6. Here we are. Now watch this. We wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities and against powers. Now remember, we click on the 12. That brings us to a more literal translation. And we wrestle against the authorities. What kind of authorities? Those kind of authorities. I can't say it out loud. This is why they don't want Christians studying the Bible. But what we are wrestling against are authorities. And it's these kind of authorities, Judeo-Christian authorities, earthly powers. But they just told you that we don't wrestle against earthly powers. That's because they lie. And now you know why Christians won't come on this deprogram and debate me, because I am undebatable. We're fighting against these kind of powers that are here on this earth. Isn't that amazing? But not only are we fighting a physical battle, we're also fighting the powers. Do you see what that says? A ruler of which world? This world. We are fighting rulers of this world, but we're also fighting the rulers that rule them too. So we're fighting, 2/3 of our fight is against flesh and blood, even though they just lied to you. But we have to remember that we also are fighting the spiritual forces. We are fighting those in the sphere that is invisible to you until you unindoctrinate yourself. We are fighting a spiritual battle against forces that we will call evil, but it just means iniquity, doing things that are, and what is iniquity all tied up in? Pain, causing toil. I don't think I need to expand on that, and I can't really on YouTube. But we're fighting against spiritual forces that cause pain, that cause toil. They keep you working 40, 50, 60 hours a day, building somebody else's dreams. And where are these things? They're in the heavenly realms. The celestial heavenly sphere, the astral, if you will. So yes, we are fighting a spiritual battle. But 2/3 of our battle is a battle against flesh and blood. And they tell you that you don't battle against flesh and blood, so you won't battle against flesh and blood. And they keep you focused on battling against spiritual evil. And you cannot, if you don't fight flesh and blood, it won't matter if you fight spirituality. That's why all these people, these silly people, I think I can say this on Rockfin because I'm defending them. They all say it's the Jews. It's the Jews. It's not the Jews. If the Jews went, if the Jews went away today, which is November 29th, if the Jews went away today and we didn't take care of the real problem, they'd be back in force by Friday. But if Christianity went away today, if Judeo-Christianity went away today, Judaism would never come back. It took them 1,000 years, the last time we got rid of them, to get back to where they are today. That's deep, isn't it? That's deep, isn't it? That's good, isn't it? And the question you should be asking yourself is, why is this guy with the funny jacket the only one that tells us this stuff? Why? They try to convince you that this fight doesn't even exist. But we do fight the authorities of which is Judeo-Christianity. These are the clearly human. I put, well, maybe they're not human. They're at least humanoid. You see what they're doing here? They're trying to tell you that you don't fight them so you won't defeat them. Because if they can keep you focused on spooks and ghosts and ghouls, you'll never beat these lying psychopathic fools. It's just that simple. Let me look at my text messages because we may have had, we have. Jason Bowles, a $5 tip. Thank you, sir. David McDonald, a $10 tip. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. May I have another? You see what they're doing here. You got to outsmart them. But let's back up again just a little bit further. We fight against rulers of darkness, which is spiritual and physical entities guiding world rulers. There is a spiritual aspect to our struggle, but it doesn't matter if we don't engage the physical enemies first and simultaneously. We also fight against spiritual wickedness, which is spiritual iniquity and witnesses. It's those that cause pain. I showed you that. And pain is central in their economy. Look at the crucifixion. Okay, stop for a minute. Whatever you're doing, just stop for a second. Literally, stop. And think about the crucifixion for a minute. The crucifixion sets the moral standard for how we treat our sons and daughters. The crucifixion sets the standard for what is acceptable in the treatment of your sons and daughters. Because if God himself can kill his son, if God himself can give his son to people to eat and to drink, then who are you to refuse your sons and your daughters? Even if you don't say it, even if you don't allow it to be thought of in your mind, it's in your script that you carry around all the time that you say is the illimitable written word of God to man. You want to know why this world is as messed up as it is? Let me give you the answer. 1,000 years of Judeo-Christian domination. That's why we're in this world. That's why we have babies being killed and slaughtered. We have babies being eaten and drinking. I know it's not a word. First thing I could think of. Because the crucifixion has set the moral standard for how we treat the most innocent among us. You know, there's a verse in the book of Acts that says, we cannot help but do the things we see and hear. And yes, after we fight all this, rulers of darkness, spiritual wickedness, then we do face some spiritual battles in the spiritual realm. But do you understand that Judeo-Christianity is built to teach you that you're not wrestling against flesh and blood, so you never do. And if you never do, you never will win. Never. Never. Wow. They do this, and they do it subconsciously. You're so right, Steve Borg. You're so right. And it's very, very hard for you to fight against it. That's why I recommend the 1-2 punch. Punch 1 is nanosoma. It goes into your body. It causes anything that you put into your body that you shouldn't have to drop out of your body, and it optimizes your body physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually. I think it optimizes your organic nature for ultimate spiritual manifestation. JeffreyDarty.com. In fact, I got a real special right now on 3 bottles of nanosoma, a bottle of the topical lotion, and a bottle of the amazing face cream. I went down to my mom's for Thanksgiving. Cynthia went to her daughter's house, and her youngest daughter said, "Oh, Mom, you must really be hitting the Botox." Cynthia hasn't done Botox in a year since we discovered the nanosoma, what's it called? Metasomer, the facial lotion. And her daughter thought she was Botoxing up. That's the nanosoma. That's the one. And here comes the two. Bam. That's the one. Here's the two over the top. And that is focused life force energy. It sends you a high consciousness environment to your home, to your phone. It mitigates 5G. You put these two things together, and what have you got? Bippity boppity boo. You got the best you that you can be. Take it from me, Jeffrey Daugherty, the Christian Whistleblower. Go to jeffreydaugherty.com. Take advantage of that. And you can always click the sun, but take advantage also of Focus Life Force Energy, FLFE button, and the Nanosoma button. Amazing stuff. Amazing, amazing stuff. Okay. We move on. I can't get too fast, but I got to bring this to you. All right. All right. Exactly. Smoochie's getting it. Orgone energy is the most organic thing that we can do. We're getting to that, Smoochie. Thank you. If we don't wrestle against flesh and blood, we lose. That's why they don't want us to think we wrestle against flesh and blood. That's why they don't want us to think that. That's why they want us to think we don't wrestle against flesh and blood. But we also do wrestle against spiritual enemies. And in our wrestling against spiritual enemies is where our aggressive magic comes into play. Remember, we have been unilaterally attacked. Let me give you just a little history lesson about this country. Let me give you a little history lesson about this country, one that Steve Borg Resistance has lived. We were in England, our people, our pagan heathen people, our deist people. We were in England. And they were killing us, and they were forcing us. They were eating our children. They were forcing us to do stuff we didn't want to do, stealing our money, stealing our land. So we got in boats, and we subjected ourselves to the most dangerous journey possible. We retreated across an ocean to avoid war with them. And they followed us, and they attacked again. Smoochie, that is brilliant. The kingdom of heaven suffereth violence. We're talking about heavenly realms. The kingdom of heaven suffereth violence, and only the violent take it by force. They know this. Smoochie, you're brilliant. They know this. That's why they don't want us to know this. We retreated across an ocean. They followed us, and they attacked us again. We have the moral authority. We have the moral responsibility. Do we have the guts? Do we have the balls? Only you know. Only you can answer that. Now, let's turn the corner a little bit. Let's talk about sexual magic and how it applies to the twofold strategy of counterattack. We've been attacked unilaterally, immorally attacked. We need to counterattack. I want to tell you how sexual magic relates to the twofold strategy of counterattack, because we have no idea. We've been thinking for 1,000 years that we're not wrestling against flesh and blood. We're not very good at it. We're not very good at it. So let's look at this in depth real quickly. There's two main things that we need to do in our war against those that are oppressing us. We need to cut off their supply lines. This is basic Sun Tzu kind of warfare. We need to cut off their supply lines and attack without mercy. In order to do either one of these, we must understand our intention and our energy, and we must understand how to direct and use it. We have no idea. So we have to rediscover our ability to aggressively attack. We have to rediscover our energy. We have to rediscover how it feels. We have to rediscover how it feels to direct it and manifest it. And we have to discover how it feels to focus and direct that intention towards a goal. And yes, to use it as a weapon, because they've been attacking us ever since we retreated across the ocean and they found us. And sexual magic is a great reintroduction to learning how to cut off the supply lines, learning how to attack without mercy. Sexual magic is a great reintroduction into how to feel, know, use, and direct your sexual energy, which is your energy. But it's only half the answer. I thought it was the whole answer. It's not. It's only part of the answer, but it's an indispensable part of the answer. And it takes care of number one, cutting off the supply lines. It helps. And it helps number two, learning to attack without mercy. Follow me. We can use sexual magic to help cut the enemy's supply lines. JT. Wow, what a high compliment. This has got to be the most awakening channel ever. Wow. Thank you so very much. I don't know what to say. That just made my millennium. We can use sexual magic to help cut off the enemy's supply lines. Well, how do we do that? When we stop using Judeo-X porn for our sexual stimulation, we cut off a great supply line to the enemy. The very fact, I know, Smoochie, and you're right, the very fact that you are using Judeo-Christian porn to get your stimulation to fuel your sexual activity means that all the energy from said activity is directed to the Judeo-Christians. That's our enemy. Think right now how many people are using Judeo-Christian porn for stimulation, for either masturbation or interpersonal sexual activities. Think of all the energy that's being produced and think of where it's all going, to our enemy. This is how 2-3% can rule 97-98%, because they're getting all the energy, and that's the most energetic thing we can do as Christians. So when we stop using their porn for our sexual stimulation, they don't get the energy anymore. We've cut off their supply line. Do you see that? We've cut off a great supply line. And we've also started pumping that oil into our supply lines. But Jeff, how do I do it? How do I do it? Perfect, Abby. How do I do it? Well, the first thing is to just stop using Judeo-Christian porn. Well, how do I know if the porn's if it's porn, it's Judeo-Christian, okay? Stop using it. Well, Jeff, how do I do it? That's brilliant, Abby. How do I do it? Well, instead of using, and I don't really know the names, instead of using, I'm not even going to say the names, instead of using porn actresses, men, to get stimulated, use goddess archetypes. You have seen hot goddesses in movies, TVs. You can think let's just be honest. Can we say the spank bank is you've got your men, your banks are so full. Come on. Women, your banks are full. And if you want to use goddess archetypes, girls, we're okay with that. Guys, you can't use God archetypes. You just can't. Women can use goddess or God archetypes. We're okay with that. Men, you can only use goddess archetypes. Use that to stimulate your sexual activity. And once you do that, Joe, you're getting advanced, bro. Once you do that, yeah, Raven Blue. Exactly. Come on. Use your imagination. In fact, look, there's a perfect example. Look at this hot pagan goddess archetype. There you go, right there, ladies. There you go, gentlemen. Some of you ladies, file that away right there. Raven Blues, I think if you click on it or right click on it, you can save it. That's some great. I'm here to help you out. I'm here to help you out. And when you begin to do that using goddesses and god archetypes, then you can use that energy for the good guys. The bad guys don't get it. The good guys get it, and you can use it yourself. And I got to say this, Smoochie, you're going to get me in trouble. You're going to get me in trouble, Smoochie. But in this, this speaks to a very high moral requirement. Personally, I feel that gentlemen, ladies, now goddess archetypes are one thing because they're art, they're out there but what I'm saying is if you're going to use a person, a real person as your stimulation, you need to have the permission of that person. Oh, wow. You need to have the permission of that person. It's a high standard. That's why it's such great energy. So anyway, hold on a second. Dagger, do you really think you could sneak that past me? Somebody get rid of that thing that Dagger just said. Because I can't find it, that means somebody probably already did. Come on, Dagger. You can't blame him for trying. If you're not cheating, you're not trying. But come on, brah. Come on, brah. Cheryl Ann, why are you trying to take all the fun out of it? I'm just joking, but you can do. I'm just taking the way it can. Oh, good. Thanks, Dagger. You can use sexual magic. Not only does it cut off the energy supply line, but you can use it to become aware of your own energy and how to direct it. And we're going to do it, Smoochie. We're going to do, I don't know if we'll do it on, I don't know if we're going to do it on YouTube, but I'm fixing to start some new groups and stuff. We're going to have some detailed Oregon University. I'm going to put down Oregon U. You can use sexual magic to become aware of your energy, how it feels to have your energy. You'll begin to see your energy. It will manifest physically. Sparkly, silver, DNA strands. In my case, I'm just sharing. But you can use your sexual magic to become aware of what your energy feels like, what it looks like. You can become aware of how to use it and how to direct it. And trust me, if you can learn how to build, focus, and direct your energy during sexual orgasm, you can learn how to do it during war. In fact, the two are very oddly, eerily similar. Hello, Jessica. Learning to direct our own orgone energy is a great primer for learning how to direct our energy, period. It's the kindergarten of aggressive attack. I probably wouldn't use the word kindergarten. It's the basic training of aggressive magic. Sexual magic is the basic training of sexual magic. Forget this word because it just wasn't appropriate. So, having done that, we've cut off a great supply line of our enemy. We focused a bunch of energy back toward our own side, into our own wants, our own needs, our own desires. There's something wrong with that. We've also learned, Dagger might like that basic training. Damn, guys. I got to share something with you, Dagger. You wonderful, crazy person. You just answered something I've been wondering, maybe for years. I was in the Air Force for almost 7 years. And I didn't really like it, but it was good for me. And I'm old now. I'll be 60 next year. And I keep having these dreams, this recurring dream that I'm back in basic training. I'm like, what the hell? And I was like, I know that it's me and I'm back in basic. I'm like, why did I join the Air Force again? And then I also have dreams that I'm joining the police force. I'm like, what? Yes, echolocation. I believe it, RP Brothers. You can bounce that energy, project that energy, bounce it off back to you. Yes, yes. Now I understand. Dagger, you brilliant bastard, has shown me Smoochie uses echolocation. I bet she does. And that's why you say, oh God, in sex. Only it's oh God's, not oh God. We just got it wrong. But I'm trying to tell myself, listen, you dumb bitch, get into basic training again. Get rolling. Let's see what Raven Blue says. Our Viking warriors, women and men, were passionate without the Judeo-Christian porn. They've degraded our nature. I love you, Raven Blue. There's another chance, guys, to copy that, and girls, to copy that picture. She's right, 100%. She's 100, 100. So this is my reminders. I'm okay. I get it. Smoochie, I get it. Divinity, I get it. We're going to get deeper into this amazing subject matter. Again, I remind you, we have been unilaterally attacked. We retreated across a damn ocean. They followed us. They continued the attack. We have the moral authority to do whatever we can to win. No holds barred. Whoops. Did I miss something here? Nope. So let's talk a minute about darkness. Let's talk about darkness. What is darkness? They have convinced us that darkness is evil. Judeo-Christianity associates all the demonstrably black magic wielded by their Bible God as justified, while at the same time labeling any efforts to respond in kind on our part as evil. If you don't hear me say anything else this whole time, hear me say this. Remember to copy Raven Blue's picture, and remember that they only call our magic evil because they fear us actually using it, because they can't stand against it. Just like free will. Free will is the ultimate evil in Judeo-Christianity because it's the seed of magic. And magic is the seed of aggressive magic. Do you get that? They don't want you to use your free will because your free will is the seed of magic. And magic is how you learn to do aggressive magic, which is our most potent weapons. Don't believe that Christianity says that free will is bad. I got 5 scripts for you, 5 pieces from the script. I know if you're a Christian, it won't matter to you. I got to show you one verse, cousins, real quickly, that shows that every Christian you know is a damn liar. No private interpretation. No private interpretation. New Testament. 2 Peter 1:20. I'm going to show you this because they will try to beat you over the head with this. Don't get lost on me. I got to show you this. It's a little bit of a rabbit trail, but sometimes it's fun to follow that bunny. You know what I mean? Watch this. Above all, You must understand that no prophecy of Scripture comes from one's own interpretation. Well, Jeff, that just means prophecy. You're pulling the Scripture out of context. No, I'm not. Because if you click on the word, what's it mean? Idiots. Prophecy, prophesying. It's both communicating and enforcing what? Revealed truth. It's not just prophecy about telling what is beforehand. It's not just foretelling. It's also forthtelling. All preaching is forthtelling. Predictive prophecy in the Bible is foretelling. The word prophecy covers both, so feel free to have a hot cup of shut the hell up. And none of the text is open to one's own interpretation, explanation, solution. See that? None of the Bible is open to your own solution, explanation, or interpretation. Why is it that I'm the only one left on social media that has that type of respect for the text anymore? You've seen Rizzoli on here. Oh, that's not what it means. You've seen that little gay-ass Sean fundamentalist guy, firmamentalist guy. I don't even know his name anymore. That's not what it means. You're misinterpreting. I'm so sick and tired of these liars. So sick and tired of these liars. All right. I just had to show you that. All right. Let's go back and wrap this up. Proverbs 14, there's a way that seems right to a man, but the end thereof is death. You can't believe your own self. Proverbs chapter 3, trust in the Lord with all your heart, lean not to your own understanding. You must be assimilated. Proverbs 8:26, he who trusts himself is a fool. 2 Corinthians 10:5, take captive every thought, make it obedient to Christ. 1 Corinthians 2:16, we have the mind of Christ. The Apostle Paul also said, be a living sacrifice. Are you kidding me? And yet, you want to be a Christian. You say you're a truther, but you won't even, you're a Borg. You have been assimilated. They have taken your distinctiveness and made it a part of their own. You're a Borg. You've been assimilated by the Berg. And you'll never, ever use your magic against them if you have been. We're almost done. We're part of nature. We're part of nature. Christianity wants to tell you that we're above nature. We're not. We're part of nature. And nature gives both sunshine and storms, and we need both. You know, the Bible says the rain falls on the just and the unjust, and we're so spoiled in our culture that we think, oh, the rain is bad. No, this was an agrarian culture. The rain is good. Nature gives both sunshine and storms. We need both. And the creative and the destructive forces of nature mirror the same forces that lie within each of us because we are of nature. Vicky Fernell, brilliant. Brilliant. If by they are Borgs, you mean all Judeo-Christians, you're right. Brilliant. We are nature. Absolutely. There is the nurturing mother deer, and there's the lightning bolt. Creative and destructive forces are equally of nature. And since we are of nature, these forces mirror the same forces within us. We have creative forces within us. We have destructive forces within us. And the destructive is not bad. It's just destructive. It has to be used correctly. We must stop hiding from the destructive force within us. Every one of us, especially if you're a true pagan and heathen, you got a raging ass wolf inside of you. You know the old Indian? I feel like there's two wolves fighting inside me. Well, which one wins? The one I feed the most. You know, there's one time to feed the good wolf. In times of peace, you feed the good wolf. In times of war or in times of détente, you feed the good wolf. In times of war, you feed that evil wolf and let him, her run. Run. We have to stop hiding from the destructive force within us, and we got to learn to embrace it because it is our aggressive aspect of our own selves. We must learn to embrace it, and not until we do will we become victorious. Victoria's secret. This is their victorious secret, keeping us unaware of the destructive force within us that will destroy them. This is our victorious secret, embracing and using the destructive force within us that is as natural as the rain. Have you ever seen the rain? They're about to. Destruction and creation. I'm about to finish with this, folks. In fact, this is the last slide. It is a law of nature. It is a law of nature. Tenebrous, brilliant. They can only gaslight us so long. Toxic masculinity. And you remember the rabbi? He was also upset about you goddesses out there being aggressive. Let me mute myself for a minute. I gotta. He was so worried about you goddesses being aggressive because they're afraid of you. JT, I hope you're not trolling. They're afraid of you. And they should be, goddesses. It's a law of nature. Thank you, Terry. That something has to be destroyed in order for something to be created. Our world, our pagan, heathen, deist world, our pagan, heathen, deist country here in the United States was destroyed so that another could be created in its stead, and it has been. We live in a world today that has been created on the ashes of our world, which was destroyed. Now, a word, I've got everybody loving me and high-fiving me, but I still got to tell the truth. This whole simulation theory, this whole simulacrum thing, I'm becoming increasingly convinced that the simulation, that the simulacrum is real and correct. And that the New World Order that's been created by our enemy is this simulation. It is this simulacrum. Our enemy destroyed our great pagan, heathen, deist world. And on top of it, they have created a false world over the remains of our destroyed world. Our world is still here. Our world is still the base. Our organic Sophia reality is still here. And yet, the Judeo-Christian world, this simulacrum theory, is an inverse of all that's truly real. They have created and manipulated history to prove that this simulacrum is real, that this simulation is real, and that our world is not real. Of course we can, Cheryl Ann. And here's the great irony of our world today. Our real organic world, the real pagan, heathen, deist world, is doubted by even us, while we willingly accept their simulation / simulacrum is real. That's what I'm here for, Vicky. It is so ridiculous that some of our best minds, oh yeah, the simulacrum's real. Simulation's real. Well, it's only real because we let them destroy our world, which is still what the simulacrum is built on. And here's the worst part. Some of the people that know the most about the simulacrum, some of the people that know the most about the simulation they know the truth about who destroyed it, and they're afraid to tell you because they don't want to lose their subscribers or their money. And every day they cuck for shekels is another day that they risk and expose the rest of us to destruction. I'm Jeffrey Daugherty, the Christian whistleblower. I'm your mailman, and you have just received a special delivery. How'd you like it? You know, I would like to stay and take some calls, but my voice is really about done. It's really about done. Thank you, Karen. It's really about done. So I'm going to not do calls tonight, not because I don't want to, but we will do calls tomorrow night, and we will maybe do them for a longer time tomorrow night and give you a chance to weigh in. We'll just do, open line Wednesday. You can call about anything that you want. And we'll do part 2 of this deprogram as well. How about that? Stop screaming names during sex. Well, that's part of manifestation. That's part of using your orgone energy, right? Thank you, Raven Blue. True Earth Norseman, it has been a while. Nice to see you. Let me look at the Rockfin chat real quickly and see if we've got any questions that need. You can't take the money with you when you die, says Odin's daughter. She's right. She's right. You're welcome, Nina. John Peters. Nice to see you, brother. Let's see. Is it okay to look at girls modeling undies? I think it probably is. But again, if you think about it, John, most of those magazines are probably Judeo-Christian produced. And now that but you don't get that girl's permission. But I mean, she's already made her picture public domain. So that's kind of implied consent. Interesting. That's why they attack women. Of course, Odin's daughter, because they know how powerful you are and they know how motivational you are to us. Nothing motivates a man like a woman. Nothing motivates a man like a woman. Odin's daughter is a Libra, perfect balance. That's awesome. Let's see what else we got here. Consistent practice is the best answer. Absolutely. Consistent practice. Just going through these. Good stuff. Good stuff. Start by getting into a relationship with nature. Yes. Hug some trees, man. Hug some trees. I disagree with you, Nina. You do need consent. It's really not engaging physically. No, you need consent to use someone's image. You're using their energy, and I think you have to ask them. We could disagree on that, but I think I'm right. Magical lives are amazing. Absolutely 100%. Do I really mean consent? Yes, I mean consent. I can't say what I'm thinking, laugh out loud. Can I have your permission? Judeo X is designed to keep our people from reproducing with our mates as a tool of theirs. Yes, Charles, 100%. 100%. Vile porn is the death blow to many a marriage, says Roxanne. She's exactly right. John Peter says, find a cousin to play with. You are right on, brother. You are right on. You are right on. I'm going to start a group, too, that we can all go to. I've already bought it. It's already natural, says Nina. It is. I'll be trying that lotion, and soon. It's amazing stuff, Nina. Oh, my gosh. Amazing stuff. Her daughter literally thought that she was using it, using the Botox. It's the lotion. Children are the biggest victims in this world. It's horrible. Horrible. All right. David McDonald, we already did the tip. Thank you. Our fight is on two fronts. Great stuff tonight, folks. I'm going to get off here because my voice is just gone. But I could not do this deprogram tonight. And tomorrow night we'll be back with part 2 of this. And it's going to be just freaking amazing. Don't miss it. Whatever you do, mark it on your calendar. It'll be on the Jeffrey Daugherty website. And that Jeffrey Daugherty website is going to be revamped. And I'm so glad for that. I'm so glad for that. Let me just give a thank you. I need to give a thank you to Jaron from Jaronism. Just a little story. When Rockfin pays you out in cryptocurrency, you know, when you give a tip or I get money for people signing up, they pay you out in cryptocurrency. And I guess it's been, I don't know, a couple years since I've been on Rockfin. And they've been giving me this cryptocurrency. I know nothing about crypto. I thought that they were saving it somewhere, right? But I call up Jaron. I paid him $60 for a consultation. And he says, no, bro, they're sending that to a wallet somewhere. I had no freaking idea where my wallet was. And we're talking about, you know, it's been almost 2 years. It's like 18 grand. So I saved my seed words. If you don't know what it means, it's like your password. And Jaron spent the time and we went through it. And I will give praise to Odin, Danu, because I found it. And without Jaron, I never would have found it. Never would have found it. So thank you, Jaron. And Jaron is a good guy. And he's going to get a tip from me, and it won't be don't pee in the wind. Although that's still a good tip. So thank you, Jaron, for that. It was very, very powerful. And just, I mean, it's been a good day, folks. It's been a good day. I really appreciate it. It's going to allow us to do some things. And if you got a house, don't eat yellow snow. And you've ever thought about solar, let me help you out. We're trying to power this and do it the right way. So we'll be back again tomorrow night, cousins. We'll be back again tomorrow night, 7:30 p.m. It's going to be amazing. Lemons as diaphragm. I don't understand. But anyway, you're divine, you're sovereign, you're free. Artie, great to see you. Don't go on bended knee to somebody else's savior. Unindoctrinate yourself. Create yourself. And let's get busy, cousins. I salute you for being here seeking after truth. Adios, amigos and amigas.